Alright guys, it's Monday morning. I figured it's Memorial Day actually, so I have a couple cars to tune. We actually are going to Pikes Peak in a couple weeks, kind of last minute, so I had to reschedule some stuff, so I'm working Memorial Day to make up for that. But I figured this morning I will drive the Mustang to work as a test drive, so I'm going to get this thing on the ground, the battery hooked up, and take it to work. And then after I got an F-150 to tune today. Once I get that wrapped up in the morning, I figured I'll play with this in the parking lot and show you guys the line lock with the trans brake, get the bump or creep process to work. In Haltech has a bump or a creep. You can use either. Explain that a little bit more and maybe make just a couple test mock staging procedures in the parking lot of the shop. So yeah, check it out. Alright guys, just made the trek to work. Taking the back way like that, it's probably, I don't know, it's like 15 to 18 minutes, something like that. Train step never got over 165. It was regulating 159, 165-ish, which I had the fan tap at 160, so that makes perfect sense. I haven't shut it off yet. It's still sitting here, so check that out. So yeah, I would say that the trans cooler upgrade is doing its job. So I'm gonna get to work here, get that that F-150 over there tuned, and then we'll play in the parking lot a bit. So yeah. All right, so the car's behind me warming up. So once that thing gets some heat into it, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna practice a normal staging procedure with the line lock off of the trans brake. So what I'm expected to show you guys, or what I'm trying to show you guys, is just why I have the line lock button applied with the trans brake when I bracket race, right? And I'll explain that a little bit more once I show you the video here. But I'm gonna get it warm, and then basically I'm gonna like preload the car after I would normally like simulate pre-stage, right? So I'll bump into the pre-stage light, I'll preload the car to say 2500, then I'll bump into the stage beam, grab the trans brake, and then basically go right to the limiter. And we'll see if the car settles on the trans brake. What we're looking for with the line lock off, the car will typically rock because there's nothing holding the wheels still, right? So the trans brake, there's play in the drive line, allows the car to rock back and forth. Sorry, I'm squinting, it's like bright out here. So yeah, so I'm gonna, like I said, just preload the thing, bump into stage like I normally would, grab the trans brake, hit the gas, hit the limiter, and then we'll see if the car settles. If it doesn't, hopefully it will. It'll roll a little bit. And then I'll do the line lock on and I'll show you the same thing. So check it out. All right, so I learned two things there. 2,500 RPM is a little too much RPM to accurately control the brake. I want to be able to bump about the same distance every time I move the brake pedal to try to stage in the same spot every time. because that is obviously super crucial to your reaction time and your dialing when you're bracket racing, right? So you want to put the tire just as far in the beam as you can. Usually I just try to just barely get that thing into the stage light turns on, and as close as I possibly can to the same thing. So I'm going to try the next one at 2,000 RPM, and hopefully, I mean, I should have better brake control there. Other thing noted, the car obviously rocks back and forth quite a bit on the trans brake in that scenario. So this time I'm going to have the line lock on with the trans brake, and we'll see how that acts. I'm going to preload it to 2,000, simulate bumping into the stage beam, grab the trans brake and the line lock on. You'll see the car will stay still this time and will not rock. So I'm going to do that right now and see what happens. All right, you can definitely tell how much better the car held still with the line lock on with the trans brake activated, and how much better car control I had at 2,000 RPM bumping the car in. That is super crucial. Like I said, the reason that, or the just staging the same every time is extremely critical bracket racing. I should do a separate video showing this and why that's important and talking about that. I might do that rather than just in the video of the build series here. So yeah, the next thing we got to do is basically make sure the bump works, which I just tried it a couple times, got it to work. So I'm gonna set the car up. I'm gonna bump in like I was staging the car. Now I'm bumping in at really low RPM, like 4,000. This is my bracket race tune-up. So we're like 4,000, 3 pounds of boost, pretty timid stuff. So I'm gonna simulate that real quick. I'm gonna bump in, and I'm probably gonna make just a 10-foot hit here. I wanna make sure that the race timer starts as I've told it to start, because the boost control when I bracket race is based on race time and not just a target duty cycle in X gear ratio, right? So yeah, we're gonna try that, see what happens. All right, so that actually worked pretty good. The bump worked well. I think we'll be able to do some Pro Tree stuff at that. The thing lights up pretty fast. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm pretty happy. I'm trying to decide yet if when I open comp race the car, because open comp's Pro Tree, if I want to bump in, or if I want to try to feed it in with the brake and get, I don't know if it's gonna make, it makes 3 or 4 pounds there. I'd like to I'm tempted to like pull the wastegate spring just completely out of it, so it just blows the thing open and make no boost, so I can just launch it like it's NA. I think I'm gonna try this a couple times, the way it sits, and see if I'm happy with how well I can bump the thing in for a Pro Tree light, or if I want to try to stage it like I would for a full tree, just preload the thing, drive it on the beams, then get on the brake and see how consistent it is that way. I might give it a shot either way and see what we think. So, but all in all, yeah, happy. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a day for that thing. I'm gonna drive this thing home, and that'll yeah, we're gonna try to go to the track this week, so I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. All right guys, we're at the track. It's like 87 or 90 degrees out or something. It's crazy hot. So plan for today is just try to get the 10.0 tune-up in first, try to cut a couple lights on just a full tree. Once we get the 10 flat tune-up dialed in, then we'll probably bump it in and do some Pro Tree stuff if they'll let us. So I'm gonna just dive into this thing and see if we can get the 10.0 tune-up in it. I got it really soft off the hit, so I'm a little worried it's too slow. I don't think I'm targeting like 14 pounds, but not till like 4 seconds in. I don't know if it's what it's gonna do at that point. It's a ramp from zero, a linear ramp from 0 seconds to 4 seconds off trans brake release. But yeah, we're just gonna see what happens. All right guys, so I'm gonna narrate this one a little bit from home too. The track deal didn't go as well as we'd hoped. The first pass, the drive-by wire kept shutting off. it happened several times. I actually made 4 attempts. Yeah, we made one successful pass all night. So it's a little bit of a rough night still chasing that drive-by-wire thing. I've since done a little bit of diagnosis. I tried at the track, I thought it was alternator noise, so I tried playing with like the alternator programming because it's controlled by Haltech. I tried shutting the alternator off at full throttle, a bunch of stuff, and just wasn't able to get anywhere with it. So I'm gonna take the thing back to, it's Sunday now. I'm gonna upload this video a little later today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna probably take the car to the dyno, back to work, stick it on the dyno and see if I can diagnose it better there in a more controlled environment. Yeah, I added a ground directly to the alternator. That actually had an effect on the voltage differential between what I was seeing. In Haltech, I've always seen the voltage difference from what the dash is telling me to what the battery readout says was a voltmeter. And I ran a ground wire to the alternator, which is bolted right to the timing cover on the Coyote, so I didn't think it would be an issue, but I added a ground wire to that. It did affect that voltage differential, so I'm thinking maybe there's something there. We'll find out on the dyno tomorrow. Hopefully that'll take care of something. But yeah, so we made one good hit. That video I just showed you, it shut off at like 800 feet, went like a 1070 or something. But the 330 marks looked a little soft there, so I moved the boost ramp up a touch, so it was full song. It was 14 pounds by 3 seconds rather than by 4 seconds. The next hit, it actually made the full pass. We went a 996 at 142. I'll show you the slip here in a minute. Yeah, so that's pretty good for the 10.0 pass. But yeah, I'm gonna show you those couple hits, and then I'm gonna go through the data log and show you what I think is going on with the throttle body deal. I don't really make a bunch of sense out of it. Basically, it throws a code for a voltage differential for a sensor 2 high, sensor 2 too high, and I don't see sensor 2 change at all, but sensor 1 drops a little bit, so I'm assuming that differential is the problem. It does throw a code for that as well. But the last pass when it shut off, the voltages I was logging didn't change, which that could be a lot due to the speed at which I'm logging those. Which again, I'll play with that more on the dyno, try to get it better nailed down. But yeah, a little frustrating trying to sort through the drive-by-wire thing. Streetcar takeover is like in 2 weeks, and there's one test and tune between now and then, which is this Wednesday. So hopefully I can get the thing sorted out on Monday, and then we can make some actual tuning adjustments to the thing on Wednesday at the track, but we'll see. Another note too, the video from earlier from the shop with the car bumping in, I didn't watch that until after I had made all that footage. It's way aggressive on the tire bumping the thing in, so I'm gonna have to make an adjustment to that thing to make it a little softer on the bump button. So I'm probably gonna try to do that tomorrow as well. Obviously I'll video all this, it'll be in the next video, but yeah, that's it. I just want to narrate this a little bit so you guys got what's going on. So I'm going to show you the pass, the 996 pass, which you can't really hear much of, and the car obviously is leaving really slow. It's not very exciting, but I'll show you that hit, and then the slip, and then I'm going to go through the data log a second. So yeah, check it out. Okay, so the first log I want to show you was this 996 hit. Got a couple things laid out for you here. On the top, let's just look at that first. So this plot is RPM. You can see there's still there's some noise on the RPM channel. So Haltech has preset trigger filters. This is on trigger filter 1. This is another thing I'm going to play with at the dyno on Monday. There's a couple things I can change, both the trigger filters, but also the voltage, the trigger voltage deal. So I can adjust that as well. Basically, you see a little noise here. It did pop in high gear again, which is a little sketchy, but it didn't throw a code for it. I don't know what that means, because last time it threw a code, this time it didn't. I'm not really sure what the difference was between the two. If it has to see so many errors to throw the code, which is how typical DTC codes work in an OEM ECU, it might have only had one error instead of like say 6 or whatever, and so it didn't throw the light. But either way, that's something we got to address. So that's RPM through there. This is longitudinal G-force. which you can see at the hit, it goes right up, and then as boost comes in, it climbs a little bit, and then it falls as normal through the rest of the pass. Here's the manifold pressure chart. So you can see, like here when we're leaving, 4,400 RPM, 4.3 pounds, and then it kind of slowly ramps up to, you know, wherever, and then it goes up a bunch there to by 5,300, we're 10, and then it kind of ramps up the rest of the time through first gear until in second it kind of steady states second, third gear there. So pretty normal, slow ramp. That's why the car looks like it leaves so soft. I mean, it's got that crazy long first gear with the 165 first gear in the trans, and we're leaving on 4 pounds, and it's at 4 pounds, you know, 4 or 5 pounds for the first 1,000 RPM of movement there. So quite a while. Like I said, it is time based now, right? So here's the drive-by-wire information. So I have a couple things pulled up here, but the ones I wanted to show you, this is pedal, this is the other pedal voltage. You see the pedal signals look very smooth. So this is sensor 2 voltage, which you can see it's got a little bit of noise there. But here's sensor 1, and you see this blip here and this here, right? So in the previous passes when the drive-by-wire was shut off, it wouldn't survive this. Nothing really changed, so we basically just got lucky. Actually, on this pass, at the end of the track, when I turned around and picked the throttle back up to go get the ET shack, the throttle was dead again. It shut the drive-by-wire code off down there, shut the drive-by-wire off down there, which is the first time it hasn't happened at full throttle, which has me even more concerned with the whole thing. It's kind of a bit of a headache currently. We'll get it sorted out though. And then down here, it's very similar to up top. I have the wideband reading and then just manifold pressure and RPM. Nothing too crazy to see there. Pretty normal, chill pass, right? So nothing too impressive. So we'll go here. And this is one of the passes where the drive-by-wire did throw an error. And this line here, this red line here, is when the error actually occurred. And you see it's got this little noise here, and then when the error actually occurs, there's literally nothing changes in that area when that throws the error. And that could be sample rate. I don't remember how fast I have these sampling, so it's very likely that the voltage did drop or raise or whatever, and we didn't get a data point from it. And here again is the RPM signal. That is a little noisy. This is only, I mean, it only made it part of the way through first gear, but yeah, interesting enough. One more thing I wanted to, actually, while I'm thinking of it, that I haven't looked at yet was drive shaft speed here. Got it. Oh, drive shaft RPM. See what that curve kind of looks like. Yeah, pretty normal. Nothing too exciting there, but it is plotting now, so that's good. I could use that for something down the road. But anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. I'm going to go to the dyno with the thing Monday after work and get it strapped down there, see if we can sort out these the little crank trigger noise issues. If we can make that this stuff here look a little better and get rid of obviously any kind of trigger error that we're having, and see if the drive-by-wire is fixed with the ground wire on the alternator. If it's not, I'm going to try a couple other things. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on Monday talking to Haltech and see if they can give me some suggestions on what to do for a diagnosis. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and check out these later on.